Kiley. Ms. Stevens, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Ms. Sue, it's so great to see you. And I just wanted to clarify a couple of things briefly. Under your tenure at the Department of Labor as the Deputy Secretary, I'm aware that 4,600 new registered apprenticeship programs with 11,000 new employers partnering on or adopting regional apprenticeships have occurred. You worked with the former Labor Secretary, Marty Walsh, to help President Biden accomplish the fastest jobs recovery in nearly 40 years, a record 13.1 million jobs created since President Biden took office, including 800,000 manufacturing jobs. And this is something in my home state of Michigan that we are feeling in our bones. We've got record low unemployment. And so, Madame, I would like to salute you and thank you for your leadership of a very critical agency during an unbelievable, unprecedented time in our nation's history. Now, thinking about this unemployment issue, insurance fraud issue in California, the first is that the pandemic era fraud was obviously widespread. You can compare rates across a multitude of states, from Rhode Island, Nevada, New York, Tennessee, South Carolina, Massachusetts. The second is that California is a huge state, right? I mean, we can fit multiple states within California. You're west of the Mississippi. We get how this country was created. And it processed 1 in 5 of all unemployment claims in the entire country. Is that right, Ms. Sue?
Yes, thank you so much for that, Congresswoman. We did have, because it is a large state, about 1 in 5 claims in the entire country. Even having that, the fraud rate in our system was less than that of about a dozen states. So that is because of measures that we took to stop the fraud when we saw that it was happening.
And isn't it true that 95 to 98% of the fraud in California was not from the regular unemployment insurance program that you administered, but actually from the specifically created pandemic unemployment assistance program, and that subsequent audits prove this to be the case?
That is absolutely true, Congresswoman.
And isn't it true that the California State Auditor did not find that any directives or decisions that you made contributed to the fraud that attacked California's unemployment system?
That is true too, Congresswoman.
And so, to be clear, Congress created that program. It was bipartisan for the new members in the room. The country was dealing with an unprecedented virus. It was unanimous consent. It was put forward by a president who is currently under indictment, I believe, or soon to be. And so it was created by the CARES Act. He signed it. And Acting Secretary Sue, isn't it also true that California, when measured by timely payment of benefits to eligible individuals, actually getting benefits to people who needed them and should have received them? A study by the Century Foundation found that California was second in the nation in doing this.
Yes, thank you, Congresswoman, that's true.
Yeah, well, just to clarify for the record, because we lived through a whopper with COVID-19. And what's happened is that under President Biden, an Inflation Reduction Act, a CHIPS and Science law, an infrastructure law, people are back to work. We've spent some money. We've seen $400 billion of capital contributions coming as a result. We are training at record speed. I'm from the state with the largest number of FIRST robotic teams. I can't wait to bring you, when you get confirmed, to see these robotics teams, because as the founder of the Bipartisan Women in STEM Caucus, bipartisan, leadership at the top matters. Julie Sue's leadership matters. It's going to matter a lot to my district in Oakland County that is innovating, manufacturing, and leading the way through a multitude of transformations in our automotive sector. And so I really want to thank you for being here today. I want to thank you for what you've already accomplished at the Department of Labor, and I cannot wait to see what's next. Thank you. I yield back.